Welcome back to the show here on Joy News. Now let's talk about another demonstration that took place today. Hundreds, including the clergy and civil society organizations, took to the streets to power pressure on the Chief Justice and the Attorney General to fast-track hearing of a case which has slowed the process of getting the newly passed Anti-LGBTQ bill into law. The bill was passed in Parliament in February this year, but has not been signed into law by President Akufo-Addo following a legal challenge seeking to prevent the president from signing it into law. But the Christian community believe it is just a ploy to delay the operationalization of the law. My colleague, Kenneth Jesse, interacted with some of the people who joined the march, and this is his report.
Well, thousands of Ghanaians thronged the streets of Accra to march in protest to the delay in the hearing of the anti-LGBTQ bill. Well, the march, which was led by co-sponsor of the bill, St. George, saw many people voice out their displeasure, including St. George himself and members of the public.
We are simply here to ask the Chief Justice to stop being selective in the dispensation of justice. We are demanding that the Chief Justice stops abusing her office and her power. She's using her power capriciously and maliciously, and that has been warned and prevented in Article 296 of the Constitution.
What is keeping her? What is keeping the Chief Justice? That is our concern. So the Chief Justice should give us a ruling. The Chief Justice should proceed with the case. That is what we are asking. That's what we are asking. For the Attorney General, we are asking the Attorney General to do his work which we, as taxpayers, pay him.
This is a divine call, a clarion call for us as a people to observe what we were born into. My brother, you are a man. I believe you have a wife. Definitely you are going to have children. And that is what the Bible tells us as Christians, that a man should marry a woman. There's nowhere in our religious beliefs where a man is supposed to marry a man.
Well, St. George petitioned the Attorney General and the Supreme Court to collaborate and ensure expedited hearing of the case.
In your statement, the Supreme Court made reference to having, and I quote, an early trial, assuring us that it will work expeditiously to hear and rule on these matters in a timely manner. Unfortunately, over 10 weeks later, there is no indication of any schedule or actions to execute an early trial that will protect our rights as citizens to timely and efficient justice delivery in this instance. Without speedy scheduling of the hearings, further time will be lost, potentially preventing the conclusion of the bill this year and further risking 3 years of time and resource investments in this draft bill and precipitating the need for more time and investments if this bill is to see the light of day.
From the Supreme Court of Ghana, Kenneth Jesse for Joy News.
Let me bring in for a quick chat Mr. Edem Senano. Mr. Senano, good afternoon and welcome to the Pulse.
Good afternoon, sir.
So did you march with them today?
No, I didn't have that privilege. I was watching on the sidelines because I'm caught up in some AU business, so I couldn't be there physically.
It's interesting that, how far we've come with this bill and then the opposition it is facing in our legal process. What is your take on this? What is your understanding? Is it normal or something must be done to fast track this, knowing how important it is to the Ghanaian society?
Well, it is for us unusual. If you look at how much effort Parliament put into this, and by the way, 3 years ago when we started, one could not tell that we're going to end with 100% consensus amongst the representatives of the people, feeling that, look, we've done all the checks, we've been to France, we've been to Hungary, we've checked other African domains, and we believe that this particular bill deserves 100% endorsement. And that was 28th February, a very significant day. I think that there's an effort to delay the process. That's how we feel. And it was very intriguing last week when the Attorney General, and I feel his comments were very profound, when Godfrey told the Chief Justice that, look, the outstanding 140 Galamsey cases could be cleared in 1 month. We see 1 month as reasonable time. if the judges were to expeditiously give instructions. It tells us that over the years, perhaps we have been denied timely justice because the powers that have been given to the judiciary are not being exercised in the best interest and considering the welfare of citizens. So they need to up their game, and that's where we are coming from when we put these petitions before them. That, look, we are paying attention to the timelines, and we think that this is way too long. If the lawyers were to supply their cases and documents in 2 weeks, and you are 10 weeks later, and nobody has said anything about it, that's strange. In any business or industry with targets and deadlines, 10 weeks, 8 weeks more than the 2 weeks deadline, that should have raised eyebrows and called for either some resignations or some letters being filed. We think that much more should be done.
I mean, as of the close of yesterday, and I'm here to check whether the situation has changed as of today, the Attorney General's office was here to file its defense in the ongoing matter. So even though the Chief Justice gave directive to all parties to file their defense, the AG's office has yet to do so, as at the close of yesterday.
Yeah, and that was part of the interesting thing, because you remember when Honorable Godfrey Dami told the Chief Justice that, look, you guys have discretionary powers which you can instruct so that cases speed up. Chief Justice responses and says, most of the time is because your prosecutors delay in filing the cases.
Right.
And so in our petition today, we said, Mr. AG, don't make the Chief Justice seem as if what they have said is the truth, because then you yourself are the culprit. Because in this case, you should have filed this by the end of July.
Right.
This is 17th July. We are now in October. And so it means the Chief Justice too made very valid points when he said that very often prosecutors, the people in the AGs, are refusing to file in time. The question in my mind is, why would the court give you 14 days if they didn't believe it was realistic time? Obviously, the courts believe that 14 days is enough. If you have come and said you have a position on this matter, 2 weeks is more than enough time for you to come and file the documents to show that this is your position. Why should it take 10 weeks? So you are absolutely right. That is also strange. Why hasn't the AGs been able to file their position? In our minds, look, if all these people, including Richard Delansky and Amanda, whoever, do not have the documentation or they don't have the facts or the evidence, then strike all the cases out. If you cannot provide your cases and documentation in 10 weeks, why should the people of Ghana be held ransom? You know, so you are right. The AG himself has not filed, and so we've appealed to him. Please, satisfy your mandate, fulfill your responsibilities, and show that you are respecting and promoting the best interest and welfare of Ghanaians according to Article 1.1, which is your responsibility.
Final question before I bring in David from Advocate for Christ, Ghana. So, Mr. Senanu, I mean, President Akufo-Addo's position is clear. Until the court take a decision on this matter, I'll have nothing to do with it. The angle to this story is that we are in October and electioneering campaign is at its peak. So MPs will have very little time to even stay in the house to do government business. The life of this parliament will end at the midnight of 6 January 2025, meaning any unresolved business would die with the expiration of the 8th Parliament. Are you entertaining the fear that this is what we are likely to witness at the end of the day, in view of the way things are going?
On one hand, it seems to us that our president is very reticent to pass this, which is very unfortunate. I mean, so far, that's the indication we are getting. And, you know, we voted you into power to promote our best interests. We would have expected a different posture from the president. But having said that, the technical people are telling us that to the extent that Parliament had actually passed it,
right,
the understanding or interpretation we had earlier on that by the end of the year, a new Parliament will not be able to proceed, apparently may not hold, because Parliament had technically finished its role. The only inhibition we see or restriction is to the extent that they are saying there's a case before the Supreme Court. So those who've been taking a look at the constitutional interpretation are telling us that we may not be losing this the way we thought initially if Parliament ceases to be at the end of the year. But that does not change the position that, look, over 93% of Ghanaians have a position on this matter. As far as we know from good policy and good law, the extent of the legitimacy of a good law or policy is to the extent of the ownership by the people of that jurisdiction.
Yes.
And so the many more Ghanaians who believe in the fact that this pro-family values bill is the way to go. That is what makes the law, makes the bill legitimate. And any president or any government that refuses to understand that this is it, think that they are risking their own tenure and their own government in the process.
Thank you so much, Mr. Adam Senator. Let me bring in briefly David Aguda. He's planning committee member of Advocate for Christ, Ghana. So, David, beyond the protest today, what more is yourself, the group, and of course those who are inclined with this matter, what more are you doing to speed up the pressure to have this institutionalized in our law?
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity. This is the first step we are taking to push the legislature to the judiciary to do what they are supposed to do. But if you look at the cross-section of participants in today's march, it tells you that the judiciary would definitely respond to this. But we have presented our petitions today. Let us wait for a response on the petition. Then we can take action on what next to do. We have engaged the Attorney General, we have engaged the Office of the Chief Justice, informed them of our position in a written petition. It is only fair to give them the chance to respond to the petition, after which we can also advise ourselves on what next to do.
But we are confident.
We are confident that bringing over 8,000 people onto the streets today, bringing Accra, the central business district, to a standstill, there's no way anybody would take lightly what happened today. There were chiefs, there were opinion leaders, there were traditional authority. The chief imam sent a very high-powered delegation. Everybody was present. The Numo Belempo was there in person. He marched with us from the start to the end. There were so many people.
Okay.
I don't believe that anybody in the judiciary will look at what happened today and just gloss over it. Let's give them the opportunity to respond.
But David, in your engagement with the Chief Justice Office, the Attorney General, where will you place the challenge in terms of where it's coming from?
No, our engagement today was the submission of the petition. But as Mr. Senanu explained, the process has been stalled at both levels.
Right.
And with the press conference that was hurriedly issued by the judiciary yesterday, we are confident that there will be action and there will be a positive response to what we are asking for after our peaceful march today.
Okay. The focus today was on the Chief Justice. But this is a matter that is litigation in nature. So there are other people with vested interests, the Attorney General, the petitioners, and the likes. So the Chief Justice may do her bit in terms of the court to have this case heard. But the commitment or the collaboration that perhaps the court will expect from the parties may be what may be stalling the progress of this case.
Yes, first of all, we submitted a petition to the Attorney General's office first, and then we went to the Office of the Chief Justice. But beyond that, before Anti-LGBTQI+Bill comes in, beyond that, the responsibility, no, let me put it this way, the authority of the Chief Justice,
right,
the judiciary has the capacity to even proceed with the case as we speak, because everybody is out of time. And this is not the first time that these things have happened in the law. And there's a legal locus for the Supreme Court to proceed if the parties have not done what they are supposed to do.
All right, David, let's hope that something better come out of today's protest. Let's hope that this case is heard and then final determination brought on this so that we'll know the way forward for this particular bill passed by Parliament. David Aguda, thank you so much for your time this afternoon here on The Pulse. Well, folks, we're hoping to take you to the court because the court is hearing bail application for some of the Democracy Hub members that were arrested during that demonstration about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And we've got something on your screens very shortly on this issue, and we shall bring it to you shortly. So this is in connection with the strike called by organized labor, and UTAG is engaging its members across all the public universities to vote for or against the call to strike on Thursday. So this is the outcome of the University of Ghana UTAG votes. And so the membership are 443 members, and out of the number, 355 voted in favor of a strike, and 88 voted no. 88 voted against the declaration of strike on Thursday. So the yes, they had it, and for that reason, the University of Ghana branch of UTAG, they voted overwhelmingly to go on strike on Thursday. We're waiting to hear from the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology and others. UTAG, they've given themselves up to the end of today to announce their decision to organize labor. What else our show for today? For more stories, log on to our website, myjoyonline.com. We have some compelling stories for you there on myjoyonline.com. But those are the stories on myjoyonline.com. The Ghana Medical Association, they say that they stand in solidarity but won't join the October 10th strike. That's Ghana Medical Association to organize labor. There's a second reported case of Mpox, also on myjoyonline.com. And of course, Oliver Bakavoma denied bail for the third time in court. Well, whatever you are up to in the hours ahead, I hope it's profitable. My name is Elton Bob. At the same time tomorrow, we shall be here to bring you another exciting edition of The Pulse. Until then, take care.